course, look, we know these are the principles. This is the foundation for all the success that we're enjoying. And look, I've said this time and time again, for a while, I was kind of quiet about what was transpiring in our organization, but it's time to stun a little bit, right? We should be excited about what we've been able to accomplish. The fact that month in and month out, we're ranking advancing people, the fact that we're now above 20% in terms of fast start qualifying individuals, and I know we'll get above 30% here shortly, as we historically have done. Our organizational retention is now climbing back above 80%. Really excited about that as well, right? Because we know it's a business that stays, that pays. And how we've been able to accomplish this: number one, we celebrate, we edify, and protect, right? We lead with activity, we work side by side. About to have a dad. Right? We lead with activity and we work side by side. Look, Coach Nan Moore has been showing incredible exampleship, right? While she's been out there building her business, she's been helping her newest partner. And as a result, he is fast start qualified, Mr. McDowell. And I fully expect that we'll be recognizing Coach Nan Moore here within the next day or two as our next senior manager with the organization. And of course, no doubt, she's pushing for executive director, and she'll be there shortly as well. Right? We invest in personal development. We use third-party tools. And then, of course, we provide uplifting service, right? Our number one goal when we're engaging individuals is to make sure that we're creating happy members. That's the bottom line. We don't have happy members. There's no reason for us to be out here. Our goal is not for people simply to enroll, but to make sure they're leveling up in terms of making better decisions in terms of their families, making better decisions in terms of their businesses, taking control of what happens in their kitchen tables, and taking control and having more agency and influence in their communities, right? This is the foundation for the success we are enjoying. So look, we cover this week in and week out. We cover a different principle, a different foundational value every opportunity we get. The goal, of course, is 90% retention, 30% fast start qualification rate. And look, it is what it is. We are inarguably the fastest growing organization in the state of Michigan. I think that's something we should be proud of. We are inarguably the number one small business solutions organization in the state of Michigan. And per capita, I know we're definitely in the top three, if not the top organization in terms of small business membership enrollment. So that's something we can be proud of. But, the enemy of great is good. We're doing good. We know we can be doing better, right? We can get those numbers up. Be remiss if we don't recognize Performance Club. Ms. Wells, congratulations. Coach Nan Moore, congratulations. Give myself a pat on the back. Congratulations. Ms. Kane, Ms. Rogers, Mr. Temple, Dr. Roman, Ms. Bradley, Mr. Ali Fisher, and Ms. April Gordy. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. We know this is the bedrock of success when it comes to building a thriving business here in PPLSI Legal Shield. I'm looking for so many names over the next 2 months filling up this list that I have to completely change and reorganize formatting the screen, right? And for individuals who Performance Club on a consistent basis, right, we know what attributes they have in common. They're vested in personal and professional development, right? And I'll be frank, I have to own this. I'm going to be spending a lot more time not only being very, 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 very vocal about attending our live meetings and attending our Zoom calls, but I'm going to be way more vocal and way more adamant about personal development and the importance of it if you want to consistently be successful as an entrepreneur. Of course, we know people who Performance Club qualify on a consistent basis are very aware of the key performance indicators, right? The exposures or engagements, making sure the three-way calls are transpiring, as Miss Nicole Rogers just spoke to. That is huge. Making sure that we track the number of presentations that are taking place. And of course, my favorite KPI, acquiring referrals, right? Your punishment, if you are cold calling, that is your punishment for not asking for referrals. So you definitely want to make sure that your referral game is tight. All right, so let's get into it. The goal of earning $25,000, 20 hours a week, mind you, okay? So we know most individuals who come to PPLSI Legal Shield is part-time, spare time, right? And so if the goal is to earn this income, what does that look like over the course of a year, over the course of 2 years, over the course of 3 years? Well, we're about to talk about it tonight. What are the things that you need to do if this is your objective, right? And look, you never make your minimum your maximum, but let's say for many individuals, this is the maximum. And of course, if you want more, you turn up, right? You do a little bit more than what I'm getting ready to share. But maybe you're at a point where you're saying, I need the extra 1,000 or 2,000 a month, $25,000 a year. That's okay too. Eat the fruit and spit out the seed, right? The information we're going to share tonight is for everybody, right? And you calibrate based on what you're going to hear tonight. So for me, when I think about going after the 200K plus ring, this is cemented into my brain. And so often in PPLSI Legal Shield, we turn the two-step into a salsa. But I promise you, you just get laser focused on Performance Club. If you get laser focused on acquiring referrals, right? 3 types of referrals we ask for every single time someone is either involved in engagement or exposure, if they're involved in an enrollment, or they're involved in a presentation. We make sure we ask for what? Who do you know that you just simply want to educate and share this information with? Sharing is caring. Who do you know that could benefit from learning about this? We can't make kitchen table decisions. We don't know who's going to buy it, but who do we know that would get it, right? It's who do you know that you just want to help, that you know deserves to hear this information, right? Who do you love? Who do you trust? Who's your uncle, aunt, niece, nephew, mom, dad? If your car broke down in the middle of the night, who you calling first, right? Who do you want to help? Who loves you? Who's important to you, right? Who do you know that's a business owner or an entrepreneur, right? Oftentimes we don't think about this, but if you're a real estate agent, if you're an insurance agent, if you are a B2B consultant or a business marketing professional, if you are an attorney, these are self-employed individuals, they're business owners, right? They are. So who do you know that's a business owner? More importantly, or I shouldn't say more importantly, but a question you can also ask is, look, who do you know? Or do you have a good relationship with your previous employer? Now, some people may be saying, well, I'm not group certified and I don't understand how to enroll people in group. That's okay. You can do group without doing group. What does that mean? You may not be certified to enroll in groups yet. You may not be certified to take AIM at companies, but guess what? You have business partners that are. You have executives in the marketplace, individuals whose responsibility it is to help you open and close groups. So even if you're not quote unquote trained up yet, even if you're not familiar with the system, that's okay. You earn while you learn, right? So you still ask, you know, are you on good terms with the company you worked at previously? Do you know of a business owner that cares about their employees, right? That could benefit from learning about this? You still ask. Who do you know who's looking? Right. And you know, for me personally, I'm very, very, very specific on this. Who do you know? Because I believe in asking for what you want, right? Who do you know that has a great work ethic? Who do you know that's the plug? Who do you know that is not allergic to money? Who do you know that is looking to change their lifestyle? Who maybe has sales experience or talking to entrepreneurs and business owners and finances on a regular basis? Who do you know who fits that description? Who do you know? I'm gonna ask that question on a regular basis. Sorry, I had another dad moment. Who do you know that you respect, who has business acumen, who's had success, right? I don't want JoJo sitting on the couch, you know where I'm going with this, watching MMA and on TikTok all night long doing nothing. Now, a dud knows a stud, but I ain't going to ask for the dud. If I get referred to the dud, that's one thing. But I want to, who do you know who's about leveling up, who wants to get after a 6-figure income? They're tired of check to check. They're a serial entrepreneur. Who do you know, right? Those are the 3 referrals that we ask for, right? So you want to be laser focused on Performance Club. You want to be laser focused on asking referrals, and then you want to teach 3 other people to do the same. And if you don't remember anything else from tonight, I want you to remember this screen, because this is your route to 25K months. This is how you get there, right? Oh, I'm on the wrong screen trying to move it. Look, I believe in telling people what they should do, but also I believe in being honest with individuals about the errors in judgment and the pitfalls. The potholes are out there for you as well. And I'm going to tell you, your biggest hurdle, if you have not started up a business before where 100% of the income from your business is allowing you to take care of your family, right? That's what I call a grown adult business owner, right? And I can go a step further and say you're not knocking out six figures, you're still practicing, right? As an entrepreneur, you haven't created a business that does that. But the bottom line is, the biggest error in judgment that W-2s make, individuals who do not know what it's like to start up a business and literally live off the revenues from that business, is this. They bring that W-2 attitude and they bring that W-2 work ethic to an entrepreneur endeavor. And it is the kiss of death. It's the kiss of death. As an employee, as a W-2, you can take days off. You can miss meetings. You can show up half Apple. You can have a bad attitude. You can decide that you're not going to invest in personal development. Look, that W-2 attitude and that W-2 work ethic is not going to work if you plan on turning your entrepreneur endeavor into something that can really create wealth, financial independence, and really create a situation where you bless the next two to three generations in your family. You have to leave that attitude at the door. And that's the biggest error. I'll have individuals come to me and they have $3 attitudes, and they're only accustomed to earning maybe, let me not say only, they're accustomed to earning 30, 50, 80, maybe $100,000 on the job as an employee. And they think they can take the same work ethic that they have as an employee and bring it to entrepreneurship. It's not going to work. You're going to get eaten alive. Because the one key denominator of success of entrepreneurs who've done well for themselves, who've made the transition from employee to self-employed to business owner and eventually investor, is this. Entrepreneurs basically do, you'll hear this said time and time again, successful entrepreneurs do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. We go further, we go harder. We're willing to do some things in the beginning that we don't get paid for. So later on, we can be compensated for things that we no longer have to do, right? And so if you are coming to this business with the wrong type of mindset and work ethic, you're going to be in trouble. You basically need to double down. You need to 100% improve your work ethic. You need 100% work on yourself to be successful, just to make the transition from employee, quite frankly, to self-employed, just to make that alone. And that's one of the first things I'd encourage people to consider, right? If you don't know what it's like to earn $250K, please do not break yourself running after it when you've never built a business successfully before. All you're going to do is frustrate yourself. All you're going to do is be upset and be disappointed with yourself. And I don't want that for you. I don't want you to be in a situation where, you haven't worked out at 50 million years. And you go to the gym and you want to bench press 220 pounds and you want to leg press over 400 pounds and you want to deadlift squat like another 200 pounds and you haven't touched a barbell in 20 years. We know what's going to happen, right? The following day, it's going to take a day for it to catch up with you. The following day, you're going to be stiff as a rock, right? You're going to be hurt. You're going to be in pain. And you probably have taken a step backwards and you start feeling some kind of way about your workout regimen. Don't do that to yourself, right? And so I'm very clear about that because, I know what you see out there on Instagram and Facebook and these social media platforms, but somehow because you decide you want to become an entrepreneur and get after 20 to 50K per month in income, that money's going to rain from the sky like manna. Please don't do that to yourself. Okay. Give yourself time to grow into this. And I'll say that unless you already have the work ethic, the commitment, and the reason why for doing it. All right. So once again, when you first start out as an entrepreneur, you're starting out as a team of me, right? You don't have a brand yet. Not that people sign Legal Shield. You are the brand. And in order for you to attract the talent that you want around you that's going to be required to build a business that pays you over $250,000 a year, you have to first become the thing that you're taking aim at. There are certain skills you're going to have to learn. You have to learn how to extend a proper invitation where people are not running from you and not behaving like aliens have abducted them because you're running up on everyone trying to sell people what it is that we do. You have to learn how to give a proper invitation. right? You have to learn how to form people, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. You have to learn how to ask questions to uncover needs. You need to be the solution provider in your neighborhood, in your family, in your community, not the PPLSI salesperson. You need to be the solution provider. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do. We just help people make better decisions financially, personally, legal, in terms of their business and otherwise, right? That's the value of what we do. So learning how to invite people to learn about the service, right? I was having a conversation earlier, Dave, a gentleman downtown Detroit, does Lyft for a living. And I didn't, when he asked me what I did for a living after, I Q&A'd him, right? Q&A'd him about what he did for a living. He told me why he did it. I found out that he was working in the military 2 years ago and walked away. He was able to retire from the military, became a teacher, didn't like that anymore because he didn't like how bad the students were and the lack of pay and the fact that, he didn't have respect for the leadership at the school, and being in the military, that's really important to him. I learned all that about him, just asking questions. Found out he was married with 2 children and that the wife was gung-ho about him doing Lyft because now he had the flexibility to help out the children. But he was frustrated because he had met his cap with Lyft. You're trading your time for dollars, right? It can be a great occupation for people, but at the end of the day, you're trading your time for dollars. He says, I need something that's going to pay me whether I go to work or not. And then after I asked all those questions, you know what he asked me? Well, what do you do? I'm like, I'm so glad you asked. I said, well, look, we help entrepreneurs level up. We help them grow thriving businesses. We help them grow from a team of me to a team of we. So they're actually creating revenues for themselves passively, as opposed to having to wake up and run themselves into the ground. How does that sound? He said, it sounds great. He says, you provide like assistance to help people grow their business. He's like, how? I said, you know what? I can show you better than I can tell you. And I sent him a video, right? Now, at no point in time did he feel like I was selling to him. At no point in time. That's what an invitation is supposed to feel like. That's what it's supposed to sound like, right? I just let him know I have a solution. And it sounds like it can meet the needs you just shared. Your family's important to you. We help you protect your family. You want to build something passively? We help you build something passively. I didn't mention PPLSI. Excuse me. I didn't mention PPLSI or Legal Shield one time. He had no idea what I was talking about. No idea. Right? But before I actually shared the tool with him, and this is where it becomes an engagement. This is where it actually becomes an exposure. Before I was willing to share with him, I said, look, I'm going to share some information with you. I'm going to send it to you via email because I already have his phone number. So I want his email, right? Giving you a huge clue. Before I send this to you, though, how soon do you think you'll get around to taking a look at it? He's like, man, I'll look at it tomorrow evening. I was like, okay, so if I give you a call, would 5 or 6 or perhaps 8 p.m. work best for you? He says 8 p.m. I said 8 p.m. right, which follows our open house tomorrow. He said I can take a look at it at 8. I said great, fantastic. I'm gonna give you a call at 8. You sure you're available at 8? He says I'm available at 8. I say sure you're available at 8? He says yeah, I'm available at 8. Right? He committed to looking at the tool. That's what a proper exposure sounds like. You get the person to commit to looking at the tool, and then you schedule an appointment to follow up with them. You don't let people put you in the land of maybe, meaning maybe I'll look at it today, maybe I'll look at it tomorrow, maybe I'll look at it tomorrow, maybe I'll look at it a month from now, right? You don't let people do that to you because you have to teach people how to treat you. If you're out here acting and behaving like a snake oil salesperson, that's how people are going to treat you. You got to let people know that your time's valuable, right? And it's not a game. I'm going to give him a call tomorrow. I'm going to listen to his story. I'm going to listen to what's most important to him. And then I'm going to text 3 people after I'm done chatting with him. Or quite frankly, what I'm really going to do tomorrow at about 8 a.m., I'm going to text 3 people, say, are you available at like 8:30 to do a 3-way with me? All right, I'm going to text 3 people, say, are you available? Because I know everyone's busy. And especially at the end of the month, the last day of the month, people are going to be going crazy, getting it in. So I'm going to text in advance. Hey, I need a 3-way at this time. That way, if I text 3 people, I know at least one of them may be available, right? And I'm going to conduct a 3-way. And when I put someone on the phone via 3-way, this is what it's going to sound like. Before I put the expert on the phone, repeat that again. Before I put the expert on the phone, I'm going to tell this gentleman, look, whether it's this young lady or this young man, right, whichever one it is, I'm going to say, look, I have an expert, a mentor of mine, a success coach who's had tremendous success. They've helped a lot of people. They're really down to earth. They've earned a lot. I have so much regard for them. Please don't embarrass me. This person is very hard to get in contact with, but you owe it to yourself to give them 2 minutes of your time. And I'm going to put them on the phone, one of my three-way partners. But that's what it's going to sound like. And then when I put them on the phone, one of my three-way partners, I'm going to be quiet as a mouse. I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to let the expert do what they know to do. I'm not going to de-edify them and strip away the edification so the person has less respect. And then when they turn around and edify me, since they have less respect for the expert, it doesn't help me at all. Right? I'm going to do a three-way call. That's what it sounds like. Right? And when you're a team of me, these are the skills that you have to learn. Before you can lead somebody else, you can't teach people what you know, and you can't grow people where you haven't grown. Right? So these are the skills that pay the bills and people aside Legal Shield. And of course, we know that you can earn a significant amount of revenues and build a thriving business without being a quote unquote good presenter. I know of individuals who build 50K, 100K, 150K businesses who very rarely, if ever, presented. But what they were highly effective at was edifying the presentation, right? How I was able to get a guest at on the Monday before last briefing is I said, look, you know, the information you're going to be sharing is dynamic. We have individuals who are part of our company who are having tremendous success. They're crushing it. They're helping a lot of people. You owe it to yourself to meet them. You know, the economy is in turmoil, but you don't have to participate. And I'm fortunate and blessed to be around people who are not participating. They are building thriving businesses, many of them with PPLSI and outside of PPL. We're already success stories beforehand. And once again, you owe it to yourself to hear their stories. You owe it to yourself to hear the presentation. I thank God they came late. But still, that's how I get individuals to come to presentation. Of course, I know Ms. Wells is highly effective at it. We have several individuals in the organization who are highly effective at getting people to live presentations. But this stuff has to become what you learn. So for the new associates listening who say, well, what should I be doing on a daily basis? What is it I need to do to learn to level up very quickly in this business? This is it. Learn how to give a proper invitation. If you don't know how, call your leadership. Don't be out there bumping your head trying to figure it out yourself. You earn while you learn here. And while you're business for yourself and not by yourself, right? Learn the exposure process. Practice it. Call up individuals and literally practice on them. Learn how to do a three-way call. I promise you this, aside from acquiring referrals on a regular basis, one of the most important things you can do for yourself. I see the screen is cut off, but you know, besides learn how to give the presentation, also learn how to ask for referrals. And if you learn these skills, you can do this 20 hours or less a week. I promise you can, because this is all that's required. And of course, invest in personal professional development. I'm going to say something right now. I know it's going to hurt people's feelings, but sometimes our responsibility is not to give you the Kool-Aid. It's not to tell you the truth. I mean, it's not to not tell you the truth or allow you to go out here and bump your head. And I'll gladly let a person bump their head that's hard-headed and not coachable. I'll just sit back and watch you catch that L into your head is soft enough or your butt gets soft enough where you're willing to listen. Trust me, I'll do that too. But you got to invest in personal professional development, right? And if you think about it, it's common sense. You are where you are right now because of the level of education, the level of skill, talent, and experience stacks that has brought to you to where you're at. So if you're struggling to Performance Club qualify, the level of talent, skill, and experience that you have right now has you at that place. If you're crushing it financially, but you want more, you want to go from 50 to 100, 100 to 150, maybe you already earning 150 because we have people who earn that kind of money in our organization, right? And you want to get to 250. Look, in order to get different things, you got to move differently. You have to learn differently. You have to get involved in personal professional development. You have to read the books. The current person you are today is not capable of getting there. And for me, it's just such pomposity When I hear individuals say, God got it, God put a brain in your skull to use to learn things. If all God wanted you to read was the Bible, then he would not have blessed authors with a gift to write other content. Learn this stuff. It drives me insane. I got everything I need inside of me. I was told that I'm divine and I got it all inside of me already. I'm sorry, this is entrepreneurship. This ain't no pamper party at some spa somewhere where you're getting nonsense from these supposed personal development gurus out here who are not gurus and have never built anything. Okay? No, you need to learn. You need to learn how to go from a team of me to a team of we. You need to learn GWS. Do they get it? Do they want it? Do they have the skills to pay the bills? You need to read books to teach you about business development. Right? To me, it's just absurd. You want what other people have, but you're not willing to do what they did and learn what they learned and experience what they experienced and build the skills stacks they built to get what they have. That's the most ludicrous thing on the face of the earth. It's like someone saying, I want to, be better than Floyd Mayweather. I want to be the best boxer on earth, but I'm not going to put on the gloves, get in the ring, and learn how to dance properly in the ring. It's absurd. Don't treat your business that way. For those of you who are not reading the book of the month, you're not at least listening to the book of the month, you're not in regular personal professional development, guess what? You're going to get what you get. You're going to continue to be stuck at where you're at because it's B, decide. It's B, decide, do, and then you have. It's not have, and then I'm going to do these things. That's not the way entrepreneurship works. This ain't the JOB. This is not corporate America. This is not your job. In entrepreneurship, you have to become the thing that you want first. Then you get to have the things. And I don't know any other way to say it. Right? And once again, this is for the individuals who have made up their mind and said, look, I want to know what it's like to knock down six figures and PPLSI Legal Shield. So I'm not giving you the popcorn. I'm not going to give you the cotton candy tonight. I'm not going to tell you the things that you feel like you should hear. No. This is huge. This is important. This is how you get there. You should take a snapshot of this. Right? This is the whole process I just shared, the approach, right? How to invite individuals, utilizing tools, edifying, three-way calls, inviting people to events. Notice it says live presentations. Big decisions are made at live presentations. Look, I'm gonna be so transparent. People who are successful, I mean really successful, who've crushed it, who've already built sales organizations, who've already built multi-million-dollar business, people who've trained 20, 30,000 people, and those people are successful, right? They have successors. Success is what you do for yourself. Significance is what you do for others. It's one thing for someone to be successful as an individual. You got to look to see if they have successors, like multiple people who follow them who've done well. If you want those type of people to join you in business, which we all should, game recognizes game. People who are very successful, they don't want to join you. I hate to tell you that. They don't want to join me. They want to join teams. Because talent, hard work wins games, but teams win championships. They want to join fertile soil, fertile ground. Some of you are out here running out like lone wolves. And then you're wondering why your organization isn't growing. You're wondering why no one's performance code qualifying. You wonder why you're having a difficult time getting people to fast start qualify. You're not utilizing the system. You're not utilizing the strength of the team. You're shooting yourself in the foot. This is huge. I'm spending a lot of time on the mindset because the mindset is, look, how to build this business is simple and easy. That's not the challenge. The how is easy. Inviting someone to look at a video, inviting someone to listen to an audio, inviting someone to go to your website, inviting someone to a three-way call, inviting someone to see a presentation. That's easy. It's the mindset that's going to prevent you oftentimes from getting to where you want to go. So please take a snapshot of this because this is the system. It's literally that simple. So you're a team of me. And before you can lead anyone else, you have to lead yourself. All right. And this is what I shared with the partner earlier today. So if you want to get to 20K, What I need you to commit to, I need you to commit to 5 exposures a day at minimum. Not a maximum, at minimum to give yourself a fighting chance. What's an exposure? You sharing information and getting someone to commit to taking a look at it. They have to commit to it. Yes, I'm going to look at it at this time on this day. And yes, you can follow up me at this time, at this day. That is a proper exposure. That is a proper engagement. It's not simply extending the invitation. You have to commit to 5 exposures a day. And then it just becomes math. I know if you commit to 5 exposures a day, even if you're not very good at the exposure process, even if you're uncomfortable with the exposure process, you just commit to 5. 6 days a week, that is 30 exposures. And we already know statistically, this is not my opinion. This isn't even PPLSI or Legal Shield's opinion. This is a decision analyst opinion. A corporation that Fortune 100 companies hire, like Bank of America, for instance, is one of their clients. Just to put it in perspective for you, Johnson & Johnson is one of their clients. Coca-Cola is one of their clients. Geico, I believe, had been one of their clients. These are companies that, you don't hear any failure stories coming out of these companies, right? These are the same companies that Warren Buffett invests in. If you look at his portfolio, right? Decision analysts said 30% of individuals who get exposed to our service, they get a presentation, will enroll in the service. That's not even our opinion. They didn't say someday, one day. They said they will make the decision to enroll. So if you are doing 30 exposures a week, let's say 30% of the individuals actually commit, right? They commit to looking at a presentation. So you do the exposure, you follow up with them, you do the 3-way call. They will commit to participating in a presentation. And let's say 9 presentations take place as a result of your 30 exposures. 30%, that means 3 members weekly. If you do that on a weekly basis, that's 3 members. That's 12 memberships a month. I know this to be true because I used to senior director and exec director qualify without a team. I used to do it all the time without a team. And these were my ratios. And I just consider that for a moment. If you're averaging 3 clients, and let's say you've been performance club qualifying on a consistent basis. So let's say hypothetically you're a director. So you're not a senior director, you're not an ED, you're not a bronze, you're a director. So you reach the highest permanent position of the company, right? Which means you're being paid approximately $220. Now, in our organization, our average compensation is higher because we tend to market the small business plans more frequently, right? We're marketing the business plans plus the identity theft, gun owners. So our average premium is higher than most organizations, but still, let's say you were just doing a legal plan plus the identity theft. You're not dealing with any of the small business plus plans or anything like that, right? Your compensation is $220. You multiply that times 3, that's $660 a week. Monthly, that's over $2,600. It is what it is. It's just math, y'all. That's all it is. Do the math. Let's say hypothetically you're earning a performance club bonus of $300 on top of that. So now you're at approximately $3,000 a month. That's not even a 20-hour-a-week time commitment. Everyone on here, you got to be honest with yourself. If you're doing exposures, engagements, you're doing it properly, meaning you should not be out here having 20 and 30-minute conversations with people. It should only take you 2 minutes at the most to do an exposure. If it takes you more than 2 minutes, you're doing it wrong. I'm going to be so real with you. If you are talking to people for 20, 30 minutes, that's not an exposure. You're giving a presentation whether you want to admit it or not. And you're destroying your business. You may feel like you're winning short term, but long term, you are wrecking your business because most people who come into your business are not going to be willing to and not going to be able to do that. They're working a job already. Some of them are working 2 jobs. Some people are working jobs and they're going to school. Some people are working and they're single parents. Some people working 3 jobs. They don't have time to do 3 and 5 30-minute discussions. You are destroying your business. So if you're just doing exposures 3 ways and you're inviting people to presentations, that's less than 20 hours a week. I know this works because I did this when I first started People Inside Legal Shield 15 years ago, and you all have better tools than I did. And I was doing this 5 hours a week. I was averaging $3,000 a month. If you listen to my story, I was averaging really between $2,500. You hear that over and over again, between $2,500 and $3,000 a month. After my first 4 to 5 months in the business, didn't know what I was doing. Didn't even know who the CEO of the company was yet. Didn't know anything. I was just taught, do exposures, do 3 ways, invite them to the event. So that's all I did. I shot out to director in less than 4 months because I just followed those simple directions. And you can average $2,900 a month simply doing that. The other thing that you're going to have to do, right? If you're going to be a team of me, because once again, you can't lead people until you learn to lead yourself. This is not corporate America. We don't have the stick in People Inside Legal Shield. I've worked places where I had the stick. I could fire you if you didn't do what I wanted you to do. It doesn't work like that here. You don't have a stick. So the only reason why people are going to deal with you and join the organization to have success is they see the social evidence. They actually see you walking the walk. I'm going to say this again. The live events is like church as an entrepreneur. That's what live events are. Live events, the briefing is church. As a People Inside entrepreneur, that's what it is. That's how important it is. People will make a decision to get the membership. They will make a lukewarm decision to join you in business. But you put them in a live environment where they can hear other success stories. They can see other people smiling. That is social evidence. You have to put church on the calendar. In our organization, church is Mondays at 6 o'clock. Some people say, well, it's not at the right time. I don't like the time. You don't go to your pastor and tell them to change the time for church. Everybody else is showing up at 11 or 10 or 7 a.m. You're not going to call the pastor and say, I need you to move this to 8 o'clock because, I don't like to get up at 7. No, you're going to get your behind at church at the time that the congregation meets at church. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. In business, you don't always get to do what you want. Sometimes you have to do the things that your goals require of you. Church is Mondays at 6 p.m. Get to church or continue getting what you're getting. Some individuals shot out, having phenomenal success. Now, all of a sudden, business slowing down. People aren't doing certain things because they refuse to come to church. This is my plan. This is the plan I shared with the partner. This is the plan that was passed on to me from the ring earners. I didn't want to hear this. You all know I'm better one-on-one, belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball. That's my strength. You put me in front of someone one-on-one, I crush all day long. But I know in order to go to the next level, in order to get to $250,000 above, I got to start going to church too. I have to start going to the live events because I haven't been going. I'm willing to be honest about that. And before I can expect to lead others, I have to be willing to do it myself. Church should be on your calendar. We have a Tuesday Zoom at 7 o'clock. We have a Wednesday Zoom at 12 o'clock every single week. It needs to be on your calendar. Because even if you're not attending the Zooms, you need to be aware of them so you can invite people to the Zooms. If you're not even aware, come on. And of course, the Wednesday core training. The only place where success comes before training is in a dictionary. These events need to be on your appointment book. And we're still not at 20 hours a week. On average, our core training lasts about an hour. Sometimes it'll be 45 minutes. Sometimes it may be an hour 15. But it averages about an hour. Our Zoom calls, you already know. Right? I'll crush a Zoom call in 30 minutes. And if necessary, if people want to learn about the opportunity and I want to go in on that, right, depending on the call, it'll last 45 minutes. You throw in testimonies, that's an hour. Our live events, to be honest, is really an hour and 30-minute time commitment. You should arrive 15 minutes early. You should be ready, prepared, sitting on the front row, bringing the energy, exercising the right behaviors, not what you want to do, but what's required to make the event successful. Front row, right? Filling up the seats. We got our regional manager listening in, right? Mr. Barry Fisher, who will tell you that's how it's done, right? You get there early, you fill up the front row. You shake people's hands, you're nice, you're cordial. You may remain behind another 15 minutes just to get it in, network a little bit, make people get those warm, fuzzy feelings, right? Share a little bit more about your testimony. It's an hour and a half. Even if you attended all of our Zoom calls, each Zoom call is about an hour, and the Wednesday one at noon is 30, 40 minutes at the most. That's not 20 hours a week. That's not 20 hours a week. That's a 10-hour week time commitment. It's not even really that. But for the individual I spoke with earlier today, they were like, look, I got, I don't have a lot going on. I can do 20 hours a week. I said, this is what you do. Now, once again, for those of you who aren't looking to get there sooner rather than later, eat the fruit and spit out the seed. Maybe instead of 5 exposures, you do 3. Right? You don't want to fast track your bit. Okay, fine. The beautiful thing about being a PPLSI entrepreneur is this business is what you make it. If you want to earn 50K per month, well, you turn up, you double those numbers, right? Instead of minimum 5 exposures, you do 10. But this is the system. This is the process. You choose the level of activity you want. You can't choose the goal and then decide after the fact, I think I'm going to do something. No, you got to reverse engineer this, right? And I'm giving you the statistics right now how to do it. The other thing that you have to do, and sometimes, something works so well, we get away from it, right? The personal daily achievement form and document. This is huge. This is so important. Those who are successful, and remember what I'm sharing with you, people who are successful long-term in our business, like we have flash in the pans. We have people come in, they crush it. First 6 months, first year, they crush it. When I say long-term, meaning they build a business that lasts. Keep in mind, that's the goal, right? To become a business owner. So you're even, at some point, you decide what floor you want to get off on the elevator. But at some point, if you're doing this right, you should be able to pump the brakes if you choose to. And your business should autopilot between the residual revenue and between the leadership that you built. That ain't going to happen in 2 months or 6 months or a year. I'm talking about long-term. You build the business to the point where you can take your hands off the steering wheel if you choose to do so. And the one thing that you find that people who are having success long-term is they track their activity. And they hold themselves accountable. So that way, when you onboard new partners, you have a system to hold them accountable. If they're doing exposures and getting no presentations, then you know what the problem is. There's something wrong with the exposure process. If people are getting people to the presentations and they're not closing the people, then they're probably not doing 3-ways, right? You tell on yourself. When I chat with some of our partners in the organization, you all tell on yourselves. You just don't realize it. If I start asking you how many exposures you've done, and I notice you don't have people coming to the presentation, I already know what's happening. You ain't got to tell me. I'm just waiting for you to figure it out. If I see people showing up on Zooms, but then there's no enrollments taking place, I already know you're not doing 3-ways. Or if you're not doing the 3-ways, if you're doing the 3-ways, you're not doing them correctly. Right? If someone's getting memberships, they're enrolling, they're recruiting, but all of a sudden their business comes to a screeching halt, all of a sudden becomes way more difficult for them, all of a sudden their business just starts to slow down precipitously, I already know what it is. I don't even have to talk to you, but I know what it is. You're not asking for referrals. By the time I call you, because I'm tracking your activity, I know you're not asking for referrals or you're not asking for them correctly. For the leaders listening in that want to build organizations, you have to add, this is part of the formula. You have to do this for yourself, and then you have to help other people do the exact same thing. This is how you build a big business. And we used to do this, and we got away from it. I'm telling you right now, moving forward, when I onboard if I onboard somebody, if you put me on a Zoom with somebody, if I meet someone that you introduce me to, I'm going to drill the personal daily achievement form. Every person I onboard moving forward, the I onboard, you can do what you want to do. I'm just giving it to you. I'm giving you the formula, right? Time either promotes or reveals. But every person I work with moving forward is going to be utilizing this form. And we're going to make sure it's available on Slack for those who are inquiring, where do I get the form? I'm going to give you a little bit more reality, right? Because you want it. If you're on here, that means you're serious about getting to this 25K mark. It is my personal experience, because I've never been, quote unquote, a top recruiter in the company. It's just not it hasn't been my strength. I've always been a producer. I started out in group and B2B. So I am straight up in my DNA a producer. Okay. I've never, very rarely have I been told that, you're a top recruiter. That hasn't been my experience. That hasn't been my thing. Okay. So I average for every 10 memberships I enroll, I average a membership. If you talk to the recruiters across PPLSI and Legal Shield, they will tell you 3 out of 10. So I went with the average. And this is what I believe the average is, based on watching the top recruiters and what my experience has been, and people who are producers like me. 2 out of 10 people will join you in your business. 2 out of 10. And once you start taking on 2 out of 10 people who enroll in the membership, because you're asking, right, R3 for referrals, your self-employed mindset has to die. Some of you right now are still treating your business like you're self-employed. And this is part of the reason why personal and professional development is important, because in order to go from self-employed to a business owner, your mindset, your thinking, your knowledge base must change. Or else you will not be able to build a team long-term. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. So your self-employed mindset must die at this point. You have to be religious about leading a team of me and doing the right things. And then you got to become religious about inviting your partners to do what it is that you're doing. You got to become religious about it. Some of you are waiting for me to send text messages and emails, reminders to your team members to show up to trainings and to show up to events. No. If you're going to grow look, Jawan Buford and Ms. Wells and Coach Moore and Miss Rogers and, let me stop going down names. I don't want to leave anyone out. If I left your name out, charge my head, not my heart, right? But you know what I mean. We can help you earn 50K, right? 3 ways, joint presentation, we can get you there. But in order to get to 250, 300K and above, you got to put your hands on the steering wheel, which means you can't rely on us to continually invite your team. That's icing on the cake at that point. You have to take personal responsibility for that if you want to get there. So I'm just being real with you. Some of you got spoiled. You're accustomed to us doing the heavy lifting for you. You have to start taking ownership of it. But if you're not coming to the briefing, obviously you can't invite people to the briefing, right? If you're not utilizing the Zooms, obviously you can't invite other people to utilize the Zooms, because then you look like a hypocrite. Keep in mind, there's no stick here. There's only carrot in PPLSI Legal Shield. There's no stick. You can't make people do anything. You got to just show up as a success story yourself. Now, let me be real with you. If you're averaging 2 partners monthly, right? Because if you're enrolling 12 people, you should be averaging about 2 partners monthly. That's 24 partners annually. And look, I'm just going to say it. I know people don't like to hear it. I know sometimes even in corporate, they don't like me to share this. I'm going to share it anyway. It's the truth. 50% of the people you onboard are going to do nothing, nada. They're not going to do a thing. If you don't like it, move to another planet. Only 2 out of 100 people who get a real estate license actually sell a house. In the investment advising industry, out of 100 people, I was always surprised if there were 5 who just made it beyond the first 2 years. I'm just being real with you. This is the reality. Entrepreneurship is not easy. If it was, everyone would do it. Only 2 out of 100 people know what it's like to earn a 6-figure income on a consistent basis in the United States of America. Most people in the U.S. are earning between $30,000 and $40,000 a year. That's most people. So when you see people driving nice cars and having nice clothes, and you see them taking Instagram photo pics online, and they showing off pictures where they're traveling, they can't afford those trips. They bought it on credit. Most people are not earning over 100K per year. Do not let the smooth taste fool you. They are fronting. It is not real. Most of the people that you like, know, and trust, regardless of how much veneer they may have on, they're not knocking down 100K per year. And most people who earn that kind of money, they're entrepreneurs. So that tells you right then and there, if only 2 out of 100, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. 50% aren't going to make it. They're not going to do it. The moment things get tough, they're gonna tuck tail and run, because they're accustomed to the W-2. At the W-2, you show up, you get paid. Doesn't matter if you're effective or not. Those checks will keep coming until you get found out. Entrepreneurship, you get found out the following day. Even if the people around you don't realize you catching that L, you know you're catching that L because you're not being successful. You can't hide in entrepreneurship. It is as real as it gets. 50% of people are going to do absolutely nothing. Get over it. Stop getting frustrated. Some of y'all be getting frustrated, be trying to love on people who are not going to do anything, and you are just losing your business because of that. You have to work with the willing. 30% of that 24 individuals, they're called what I call lottery ticket or sometimey business partners. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. That's all good, because even a dud can lead you to a stud. They're sometimey, they might lead you to somebody who's not sometimey. Also, when you're running for executive director and you're 1 membership short, and that sometimey person comes through with a membership the last day of the month, you love that person. You love that person just as much as the person who did 15 or 20 memberships in a month. You love that 1 membership. So it's okay. But just understand it is what it is. 30% of people aren't going to commit all the way. They're only going to build their business when it's convenient. They're only going to show up to Zooms when it's convenient. They're only going to show up to live meetings when it's convenient. They're only going to do what they need to do when it's convenient. You got to be okay with that. People just aren't honest with themselves. They set goals, they don't achieve them. It's not because they don't have the capacity to achieve them. They're just not committed. And they get half Apple results because of that. Their businesses are up and down. You have to accept that. Out of 24 individuals, you may get 4 who are about that life. You may get 4. That's it. That's all you're going to get. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. You may get 4 partners who are willing to do the things they're supposed to do. These are people who are willing to Performance Club qualify. Assuming you are being a proper example. If you're not being a proper example, that number goes down dramatically. You might only get 1 person. You might get quote unquote lucky. So you're not lucky. It's just the numbers are working on your behalf, right? The system's working for you, and if you're not doing it correctly. But you might get 1 out of 24. But if you're doing proper exampleship, 4 people are going to commit to the process. They're going to Performance Club qualify along with you. And now some of you may be thinking, dag, only 4 people? Let me show you what 3 to 4 people can do for your business. Let me share it with you right quick. Let's say you commit to going senior director, year 1. Now, once again, if you want to get there sooner, you turn up. You turn up, right? But based on these ratios, your Performance Club qualifying on a consistent basis, right? You're averaging about 3 memberships per week, sometimes up, sometimes lower, but that's what you're averaging. When I see that happening with your business, I don't need to ask you. I know how much you're earning. If your persistency is right, you're going to be earning $3,000 a month. You take on 3 partners. Now, mind you, I just cut off 1. So I'm lowballing here, right? I'm not even really giving you what it really is. I'm just giving it to you, on a low ball. I don't want to share no pie in the sky stuff here tonight. I want to be as real with you as possible. You're averaging $2,900 a month, just under $3,000. Okay. If you have 3 partners who are averaging 5 memberships monthly, that means you are doing 15 memberships. Now, note if you have 3 partners who are Performance Code qualifying, remember what I said earlier, right? Only 4 out of 20. So that means you have a couple people who are sometimey, and you probably have another 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30 people who are doing absolutely nothing. You're doing nothing. They just own the books, chilling. Stop chasing them. Stop getting frustrating with them. You just invite them to the system. Let them plug in. They don't plug in. They don't show up on time. They don't do what they're supposed to do. You can't do nothing about that. You focus on the 3 that are actually averaging 5 memberships per month. That's it. So they're not even doing your type activity. If you have 3 to 5 to 10 individuals, and on average, this is what they're doing, right? Some are averaging 1 membership a month, some are averaging 2, but you got 3 who are straight up committed to PCQ. And you can count on them, right? They're solid, like $1,000 solid. They're averaging about 15 memberships a month. You multiply that times the average override, and I'm just telling you, as senior director, once you get to this point, that is going to be your average override. It's going to be about $100. Sometimes it's going to be 50, sometimes 75. But if your organization is growing and building, you're recruiting, right? You're going to average about $100 in terms of overrides, which means you're going to be earning about $1,500 a month just in override income. Now, PPLSI Legal Shield just recently introduced a situation where when your team members are Performance Code qualified on a consistent basis, they pay us extra money, right? They pay us additional bonuses. And so your bonus is going to average about $750 a month. So you take a total of $2,900 plus $2,200 in bonuses, right? Between the differential compensation and the PCQ bonuses. Now you're at $5,000 a month. You're at $60,000 a year. This is what it looks like. You're doing approximately 12 members. So you add 12 plus the 15. Not only are you senior director qualified, but you are getting really close to ED. That's where you're at. You're knocking on 14. You're knocking on about really, if you're doing that, you're knocking on about $1,000 in premium, between 900 and 1,000. This is what it looks like. I'm giving you the honest truth. I'm giving you the numbers. I'm not candy coating it, right? Because for those who decide they want to make this run to $25K per month, this is what it's going to look like. So you can go to the other trainings to get the cotton candy. I'm giving it to you real. This is what it looks like. Now, once again, some of y'all don't get scared. If you're not willing to do this, it's okay. You get off the elevator where you're comfortable. But for the individuals who want to get to that, this is what it looks like. And yes, Dr. Roman, it is being recorded. So you did miss a significant part of the first half. It was very important, so you want to watch that. Let's say year 2. Once again, you're still doing what? Mind you, I want you to pay attention. Did your time commitment increase from year 1 to year 2? No. You're still just Performance Code qualified. Now, something I want to bring to your attention is notice I didn't adjust the income for you. I'm lowballing. But at this point, you're not being paid on average $220 anymore. You're being paid anywhere from $270 to $300 some odd dollars per membership. But I wanted to lowball this for you, right? So your personal income has actually gone up, but I just kept it at the director level. So you're still hypothetically earning just under $3,000 a month for the activity that you're already doing. But your 3 partners found another 3 partners, which now you have 12 Performance Code qualifiers in your organization. So you see the schematic, right? PCQ3, then there's 3 people, PCQ3. Those 3 people, they found 3 people. They didn't find 50 people who committed, because keep in mind, most of them aren't. They just found their 3. And so now those 3 are now 12. And your responsibility is not to harass, harangue, and try to lead and interrupt what the other three have done. Your responsibility is to edify the three to help the other three find their three. You make yourself available, you make yourself present, you befriend people, you reach out and let them know, hey, you're willing to help me out, but you should be edifying the leadership in your organization. I hear people using words like, these my people. No, they're not. Nobody wants to be your people. I'm sorry, real leaders, that's not how we get down. If I wanted somebody to own me, I would go back to the 18th century and be an indentured servant on the plantation. Nobody owns me. I ain't your people. I hear people talking about people coming underneath me. I want you to come in. Man, you better take that link. That's why your organization ain't growing. I'm not coming underneath nobody. I'll partner with you. I'll allow you to mentor me, coach me. We could do that, but you think you own me? I'm coming underneath you? And then you trying to figure out why your business ain't growing, because real leaders don't tolerate that type of BS.com. Ain't nobody trying to come underneath no one. I heard someone during our last training call say that. I wanted to reach through the screen. Talking about prepaid legal services and come underneath me and prepaid. Man, look, I'm sorry. I just went there. Anyway, your three partners have found their three partners. You edify the individuals that help the three find the three. You support them, you lift them up because they're doing the right things. So now you're not the leadership anymore. Now you have additional leaders, more social evidence, and you edify them. That's why when Coach Moore is having success, I edify her. That's why when Temple's having success, I edify Temple. I don't jump online and take credit for the success taking place in the organization, even if I'm involved in it. You're not going to see me do that. I'm going to edify the leaders who are doing the right thing, and I'm going to continue to encourage the leaders to do more of the right thing, because that's how you create the culture, right? Highlighting people who are doing the right things and behind closed doors, coaching them up to do better. I'm giving it to you how to get to 25K per month. This is the program. So don't get upset at convention. You see one or two of us walking across stage is 100, 150, or 200K ring earners. You're not walking across stage with us. This is it. So you have 12 Performance Club qualifiers. That means you can count on them to average about 5 memberships per month. That's 60 memberships per month. That's executive director. Your average override says $100. I'm lowballing. It's not $100. Your average override is going to be close to the 150 at that point, because you're onboarding new people. You're growing. You're staying in activity mode yourself. So you're building new leadership. You're building new organization. You're taking on new members yourself. And so that's $6,000 in bonuses from Performance Club. The team bonuses, because you have team members who are Performance Club qualifying, and you assume maybe you have someone who's also making an ED run, they're qualifying for senior director. Even still, you should average about $3,000 just in the Performance Club bonuses. So just in team Performance Club bonuses, you should average $3,000. Now you're at $11,940. Mind you, your time commitment did not increase. All you did was Performance Club qualify in R3, and you taught other people how to show up. So you don't have to do this 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Now, look, are there people who did it 40, 50, 60 hours a week because they weren't trying to wait 2 years? They weren't trying to wait 3 years. They were trying to do it right now, right? There are people who came to the organization and did that. Mr. Carruthers is a perfect example. The reason why we call him the $1 million man is because he did it his first year, right? He was like, forget waiting 2 or 3 years. I'm about to cram it in less than a year. And I don't know, one of you tonight are probably looking at these numbers. You might be thinking, I can condense timetables. But if you just want to part-time this and get there and be with certainty, right? You're earning more than what? 85% of the US population, 20 hours a week at this point. This is what the income looks like. And this is really you hitting ED and you're building an ED. So you're on your way to bronze. That's what this is. Because one of those PCQers, one of those three, to help the other three find their three, because of that, one of them is well on their way to ED2. And this is what it looks like. And you can do this in 2 years, you can do this in 6 months, but you need to know what it looks like. You need to know what the activity, you need to know what your organization should look like. This is what it looks like. You're still building up your three. You're still promoting your three, and you're helping them build up and promote their three. That's what you're doing. Year 3. Your 12 partners have found their partners. Now you have 39 people Performance Club qualifying. 195 members. I'm lowballing. That says 100. Trust me, by the time you get here, your overrides are more than 100. Okay. But I wanted to lowball this. I didn't want to give you pie in the sky. But just on that alone, you're earning $20,000. Your personal production, I'm just being real with you, you're really earning closer to $4,000 to $5,000 because your Performance Club have gone up, your average compensation has gone up per membership. It starts getting absurd. So you're well over, I'm just be real with you, you're well over $20,000 a month. I was in between presentations today up until the training, so I didn't get a chance to calculate the PCQ team bonuses, but let's just say they get pretty absurd. And if you're doing this, keep in mind your time commitment didn't have to increase. You could still be doing this 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week. Now, if you want to step on the pedal, you want more, you want to start operating like within the super elite. Look, you're elite if you get here, but you want to get to 500K per year, you want to get to $1 million a year. You're taking on more responsibilities. Your organization is growing, so you're traveling across the United States. You're traveling, having a good time. I mean, look, people say Daz be working hard. Yeah, he be working hard, but Daz be having a good time. He going to these markets and he's getting it in. He's having they're taking really good care of him. Maybe you decide you want to do the same, right? You want to travel the world, have a business that you can work from your phone and bring your family with you. Because a lot of people, that's what they do in this business. But you don't have to go there. 20 hours a week, this can happen for you. It's just the numbers. And my goal tonight was to break it down and make it simple. I don't want you to overthink this. Getting to 20K, the business does not have to become more complicated. It can still stay simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You Performance Club qualify. You help 3 people Performance Club qualify. You help them find their 3. You edify and you raise up those individuals who are following the system and being coachable and doing things right. I hope you're getting a huge hint here. You don't edify people who are not being systemic, because what's going to end up happening is they're going to destroy your organization. You're going to be starting from scratch and you're going to be pissed. I promise you, because I've been there. I've seen it happen where I was edifying the wrong people who weren't really being systemic. But this is what you do. And you can get here 20 hours a week. You help your 3 get their 3. They find their 3. This is what it looks like. Don't overthink this. Do not turn the 2-step into a salsa. But it all starts with accountability, you being Performance Club qualified. If you're not willing to perform, this is why Performance Club is so absolutely important. This is why you don't have a choice. You are not going to get here without Performance Club qualifying. I promise you, it's not going to happen. All right, that's it. I'm gonna press pause. I know I shared a lot in a short amount of time. I went over, but I thought this is really important because we have individuals right now who are either ready to make the leap, like I am. We have some individuals, let's be real, they're gonna be losing their jobs over the next 3 to 6 months. I don't know if you've been watching the news, but the layoffs are coming. We're gonna have some people who aren't gonna have jobs real soon. And they don't even know it because they don't drink the Kool-Aid. They believe they don't realize that job security is an oxymoron. The layoffs are coming. The furloughs are coming. right? A lot of us are knocking on our 40s and 50s. Companies don't keep 40 and 50-year-olds anymore because we're too expensive. They can find people who are 20 years our junior and pay them 30 to 40% less, and they will be happy with it. I'm just putting y'all up on game. Some of y'all don't act like you don't know. All right, some of us need to be considering making a leap right now. We need to seriously look at this and say, you know what? It's time. All right, so look, I'm done running my mouth. Questions or feedback about what's been shared? Questions or feedback? Please feel free to unmute your line. If you have questions and I don't see eyeballs and teeth, I'm going to ignore your question. I promise you I am. I'm not even going to listen to you. If you have a question, I want to see your eyeballs and I want to see your teeth. If you ask a question and I don't see your eyeballs and I don't see your teeth, I'm going to kick you off the space. So, questions or feedback?
Well, my feedback is this was very empowering, and as all the core trainings are, each time I attend one, I learn a little bit more on where I need to tweak what I'm doing. But I still always hear you say snowflakes turn to snowballs. So I'm working on myself professionally, and I'm tweaking some of the things that I've learned and what I've been doing. So like I've been sharing the videos or the presentations or a link, and I'll get someone to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna look at it. But I hadn't been confirming when they were gonna look at it. That's where I was making a mistake, because they were like, oh yeah, that sounds great. That's something I can use. Oh, me and my husband both have businesses and that's something we could use. But I didn't confirm when they were gonna look at it. So that's really helping me as well. So I appreciate your time. And there's my face and my teeth. So I'm glad you didn't kick me out.
Thank
I'm
you for
still
showing
sitting in my
faces.
car.
Not a game. Who else? And some of y'all better come to the screen with questions, because I've been having conversations with many of you. So if you're serious about this, you should be asking questions.
I want to.
I'm sorry, I couldn't. Ladies first. Who had the question?
Hey, Mr. Buford, it's Chantel.
Yes, Ms. Moreras.
So I wanted to tack on to, I believe it was Miss Harris. I apologize if it was the wrong name. That was something that hit me too, because I know you and I've had a talk or two, and I almost didn't say anything, but I figured that even from 900 miles away, you could reach through the Zoom and get me. So I seriously felt attacked. And I'm like, so this is like every time you said something, I'm like, am I going to do this? Are you going to do this? Am I? And so it was like, if I'm feeling attacked, it's not a bad thing, because I needed to hear what you had to say. And in the past, I've taken something like that and been like, okay, I'm done with this, blah, blah, blah. But I really, because I've been actively growing myself personally, and I want to do this, and I come all the time, just every time I can, because it's like, I'm not going to do something different. Because if I don't do something different, I will continue to be the same. So I just wanted to thank you so much. And I love the fact that you are so stone cold honest. And I think that shows how much you care about everybody here. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm glad it landed. No low expectations here. I believe everyone can get there. Every single one of you, I believe you cannot convince me that you cannot get there part-time. Mr. Fisher, the floor is yours, sir.
Mr. Buford, I want to first thank you for the opportunity to be able to be present in your training this evening. Excuse me. By far, this is one of the best trainings I've been to from a team leader to be able to get his team to be visual on what they can do and how they can grow. And the one thing I always share with you when you and I talk is that you keep the three things important in my mind important. Is one is to be focused, the second thing is to be dedicated, and the third thing is to do the things that need to be done to be able to achieve what you need to achieve. So each time I get around you, excuse me, that's what you bring out of me, to be able to be able to appreciate the information that you're sharing, but more so how I can take that information and use it myself. So I want to thank you for that. I want to say thank you for allowing me to be on your call this evening. I'm going to have to jump off here and get on another one here in a few minutes. But I appreciate you, my brother, and look forward to working with you in the continuous success throughout the rest of this year and also in 2024.
All right, Mr. Fisher, I look forward to seeing you walk across the stage with that. You know, I don't want to be by myself. I want to turn around
Nah,
and
bro,
see.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
All right, let's get it.
Yep. All right.
All right. Any additional questions or feedback?
Thank you for the information and breaking that down the way you did and just the step by step. I'm a person that is visual, so being able to see it laid out the way that you laid it out made it just basically a solid game plan on how to execute and continue to execute. And again, with you lowballing it was also good because it just lets us know that it just depends on our level of focus on how we can turn it up and reach what we need to reach within our own goals quickly and more efficiently. So thank you for that. I needed to see that. So thank you.
Ms. Kane, you just slipped in underneath my radar. I was supposed to mute you for not showing your eyes and teeth.
Okay.
See, Ms. Kane's been with us for a while, so it's hard for me to be mean to her. Congratulations, Ms. Kane. I'm glad you were able to get the information you needed to get.
Thank you.
All right. Questions or feedback going once? Questions or feedback going twice? Man, some of you don't let me call you up over the course of the next several days and you ask some questions that you could have asked right here. Don't do it. I see you unmuted, Temple, but I can't hear you. I see you talking. That's interesting. You can hear us, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear y'all. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Okay. I would just my reminder to everybody that's here. December 15th, Space Lab, Ugly Sweater, Christmas party. Be there, y'all. Let's get this team intertwined. Let's grow together, celebrate together, have fun. Plus, we got to celebrate for the year that we just had. You know, bring your ugly sweater. Oh, and it's going to be a gift for the ugliest sweater also. So keep that in mind. There's going to be some food, some drinks, and more drinks because we celebrating for real. So everybody just look out. I know Miss Webb going to have the link posted so you all can make sure you're there. But December 15th, that's a Friday, from 7 to 10 at Space Lab Detroit.
Thank you. Miss Martinez, we'll find a way to somehow Zoom it. And we ain't recording it though. Know that.
Oh, we ain't recording. We're gonna Zoom.
No, we ain't recording no Zoom. Y'all will get us in trouble. Some of y'all
we're gonna have it available like New Year, Times Square.
No, it's like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We ain't broadcasting some of the stuff that's gonna be coming out of people's mouths and having it recorded.
And
Yes,
especially
brother.
especially if Mr. Buford gonna be like he was in our last mixer. He was
I
a
don't even know
whole
what he
bunch of
talking
fun
about.
that day.
I don't know what
A
he
whole bunch
talking
of
about.
fun.
All right. Any additional feedback or questions before we jump off here? Questions or feedback? Going once, going twice, going thrice. All right. So we'll make sure this gets posted in the next 24 hours. I know that some of the trains have not been posted. We'll get it up. Look, I celebrate success and I meant everything I said. There's no reason why any one of us can get this done. Any one of us can get it done. There's no reason why we can't have 5, 6 people at minimum at convention walking across the ring. And, look, hold me accountable. I'm going after it. I'm going to do the things you saw on the screen. Right? So many of y'all be like, Mr. Buford, why don't you rest? Why don't you rest? You haven't even seen how fast I can run yet. You just got a piece of it. I'm going to sprint after this. I'm getting that ring by convention. So you think I'm crazy now, you about to see a real savage between now and convention. So hold me accountable. Watch it. All right. It looks like no one has any additional questions and whatnot. I'm going to put my kids to bed and call my 8:30 before you get mad at me. I told them I'll call them at 8:30. I have not done it. Everyone have a great evening. I celebrate success in advance. Hey, if you have not PCQ qualified, be aware there is another call taking place tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to invite people, and you can write business up until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be aware of that. You have up until then to get business in if you're looking to Performance Club qualify for the month of November. I know some of you have also sent me leads. I'll be working on as best I can, but man, last day, everybody is sending, I got like 20. Hey, Mr. Buford, can you contact me 20 people? Like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyway, we'll make it happen. Everyone have a good evening. Goodbye for now.